Hello. Hello. Good afternoon. So in the previous class, we have studied about actual cycle. Okay. Today we are going to start next topic, that is Wolff timing diagram. It's very important topic, Wolff timing diagram. Wolff timing diagram shows how the valve inlet valve and outlet valve opens and closes during the whole cycle. Okay. So I am going to explain here Wolff timing diagram for auto cycle for 4-stroke petrol engine. Okay. So first I am going to explain the theoretical Wolff timing diagram. Okay. First I am going to explain the theoretical. What we understand theoretically, that I am going to present. Theoretical Wolff timing diagram. So in theoretical Wolff timing diagram, okay, let us assume this is a line and this is the center point. Okay, assume this is crankshaft. This is the crankshaft. Okay, and this crankshaft is rotating on this center. It is the center about which this crankshaft can rotate. Okay, so when the crankshaft is at top position, then at that time the piston will be at TDC. So this line represents TDC. This line represents TDC position, and this line represents TDC position. When the crankshaft is at bottom position, then the piston will be at VDC. So this bottom line represents VDC and the top line above the center represents VDC. Okay. So now in starting, in the initial position, we are at VDC. Okay. So I am taking a point here on VDC line. Okay. So let us assume I am here at point A at starting. At initial position I am here at point A. Okay. Now this is the initial position when piston is at VDC. Now suction stroke takes place, and during suction stroke, when piston is at VDC, here at point A inlet valve opens. Here at point A inlet valve opens. Okay, and suction stroke takes place, and during that suction stroke, crankshaft revolve by half revolution. Crankshaft revolve by half revolution. Okay, so crankshaft revolve by 180 degree. So from VDC, piston comes to VDC and crankshaft comes here. Let us assume this is point B. So here crankshaft revolve by half revolution. Okay, 180 degree. And during this stroke from A to B, during the suction stroke, inlet valve remains open. Okay. Inlet valve remain open. Okay. Inlet valve remain open. Okay. Now at point B, suction strokes completed, and at point B, inlet valve closes. When suction stroke completed, at point B, inlet valve closes. Okay, so at point B, inlet valve Okay. Now at point B electron closes. Now from here from point B compression stroke starts. Okay. So again now during compression stroke again crankshaft revolves by half revolution by 20 degree. Okay. So here again crankshaft revolves by half revolution. So let us assume again this crankshaft revolves by 180 degree. Half revolution. Now let us assume we have reached at point C. Let us assume this point C. Okay. So now during compression stroke from B to C, both valve, inlet valve and exhaust valve, both valve remain closed. Okay. Because at point B, inlet valve closes and exhaust valve is already closed. So during compression stroke from B to C, both valve remain closed. Okay. Both valve during compression stroke, both valve remain closed. Okay. Okay. Now, here at point C, heat addition takes place, combustion takes place, and after combustion, expansion stroke takes place. Now, during expansion stroke, crankshaft revolve by half revolution. So, again, we have to revolve by half revolution. By half revolution. Let us assume this is point D. Okay. This is point D. Now again for this half revolution means from C to D means for expansion stroke again both valves are remain closed. Both valves remain closed. So during the stroke when cranks are rotated from C to D during expansion stroke both valve, inlet valve and outlet valve both remain closed. Okay. Now after D, now here when expansion stroke completed at point D ventilation takes place. Okay, exhaust gases cool down, ventilation takes place, and after ventilation we will proceed for exhaust stroke. The last stroke is exhaust stroke. Okay, now at point D exhaust valve opens. At point D exhaust valve opens for exhaust stroke. Exhaust valve or outlet valve. Exhaust valve opens at point D. Now here at point D exhaust valve opens. Okay, and from D exhaust stroke started. Now again for exhaust stroke again piston revolve by half revolution. So we have to revolve by half revolution from D to this point in E. So for exhaust stroke, again we are revolving by from D to E, crankshaft revolve from D to E, and during this exhaust stroke, exhaust valve remain open. Exhaust valve opens at point D, and during the whole exhaust stroke, exhaust valve remain open. Exhaust valve remain open. Inlet valve is closed here. Okay, inlet valve is closed during exhaust stroke, but exhaust valve or outlet valve is remain open during exhaust stroke. Okay, when exhaust stroke completed at point E, then at point E exhaust valve closes. At point E, exhaust valve closes. At point D exhaust valve closes. Okay. Now again same cycle repeats. At point D exhaust valve closes and we proceed for suction stroke. Again at point A inlet valve opens. Okay. At point A inlet valve opens. Inlet valve opens. Okay. At point A inlet valve opens and remain open for suction stroke from A to B. Okay. So this is the theoretical valve timing diagram which we have studied ideally. This is the ideal case. But in actual, this is not happening in actual. Okay. Actual process is very different. Okay. So that you will see in actual valve timing diagram. This is theoretical valve timing diagram. Now we will see the actual ball bearing diagram. Okay. Actual ball bearing diagram. So now I'm going to draw the actual ball bearing diagram. Actual ball bearing diagram. Now actual process is different. Like in theoretical process, we are assuming that exact height point A inlet ball occurs. This will not happen actually. At any exact point, inlet ball cannot open. Opening of inlet ball takes time. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, so at the exact point, we cannot say that we cannot say like that at exact point A inlet ball opens. Just opens. At point A, just opens. We cannot say like that. Okay, because it will take some time. Okay, so in actual diagram, I am going to show here how the actual process happens. Actual ball binding diagram. Now we are proceeding for actual ball binding diagram. Again, I am drawing the crankshaft line. Take the center point. Take the center point. This is EDC position, and this is EDC position. Okay. Now, as I said, what we are saying in theoretical ball-bearing diagram that at point A, exact at point A, inlet ball opens. No, it will not happen actually. In actual condition, opening of inlet ball takes some time. Okay, so to just open at point A or just opening at point A, we have to start opening the inlet ball before point A. Okay, before point A. Okay, it will take some time to fully open. Then only the inlet ball can fully open at point A. So we are starting to open the inlet ball before 60 degrees from point A. Before 60 degrees from point A. Before 60 degrees from point A, that is assumed that is point A dash. So actually, we have started to open the inlet ball before point A dash, before 60 degrees. Now when we have started to open the inlet ball at point A dash, now when we move from A dash to A, it will take some time, and at point A, now at point A, inlet ball fully opens. During that time period, at point A, inlet ball fully opens. Now here inlet ball fully opens. Now we will proceed for suction process from A to B. A to B. Okay. Now during this whole process from A dash to B, during both sides, inlet ball is open. Inlet ball is open. Okay. Now when suction is completed at point B, now we have started to close the inlet ball. Now again the same happen. When we start to close the inlet ball at point B, it cannot just close at point B. It will take some time. Okay. So we have started at point B, but it will close after some distance, after moving some point. Okay. So here we have started at point B. We have started to close the ball at point B, but it will actually close after 15 degrees. And it will close after 15 degrees. After 15 degrees. After revolving 15 degrees, it will actually close at point B dash. And we have started the compression process from point B itself. But inlet valve closes at point B dash. Okay, because we have just started at point B, it will take some time. So it will actually fully close at point B dash after 15 degrees of revolution. Okay. Now, from point B, we have started the compression process. So compression should proceed from point B, and it will proceed. Now, as I said, in the cylindrical process, I told you that at point C, here at point C, combustion takes place. But combustion process cannot take place suddenly. We have to do sparking. Okay. After that, combustion takes place. Okay. So it will also take some time. So again, we need to start the sparking action before point C. We need to start the sparking action before point C. So here before point C, before 20 degree before, here 20 degree before. Okay, before 20 degree, at point C1. At point C1, we need to start the sparking action. Okay. After sparking again it will take some time for the combustion to start. After sparking, again combustion is a chemical reaction process. So it will take some time to start the combustion. So after sparking at point C1, combustion will start after 8 degree. Okay. After 8 degree from C1, here at point C2, after 8 degree from C1, when the sparking starts, here at point C2, combustion starts. Okay. And from C2 to C, combustion proceeds. Okay. Rate of combustion increase. Okay. And combustion takes place from C2 to C. Again, combustion cannot stop at point C. Okay. Because first we have to stop the sparking action. To stop the combustion, to stop the ignition, first we need to start the sparking action. Okay. So again we will stop the sparking action after 12 degree from point C. Here we will stop the sparking action after 12 degree. After 12 degree. After 12 degree from point C. Here C dash. At C dash, the sparking stops. Okay. Now here at C dash, sparking stops, but combustion is not stopped here. Only sparking stops. Combustion continues from point C. Okay. So combustion after the stopping of the spark, again to stop the combustion it will take some time. So after 40 degree from point C, let us actually using point C dash, P1 dash, here sparking stops. Okay, after 40 degree. Because I told you that combustion is a chemical process, so it will take some time to stop. It will take some time to start as well as to stop. So here see at point C dash, we have stopped the sparking, but combustion is not stopped here. Combustion is stopped after some point. Okay, so it will stop after 40 degree from point C at C1 dash. Okay. Now from point C, expansion also starts. Expansion process also starts here. Okay. So again, from point C, expansion process proceeds. Now during this whole process, inlet and outlet of both valves are closed position. Okay. So from point C, expansion process proceeds. Okay. Again, when expansion completed at point T1, when expansion completed at point T1, at point D, now at point D, we have to move for exhaust stroke. So exact at point D, what we have studied in the theoretical process, that exact at point D exhaust stroke open. But again the same cheese, it will take some time to open the exhaust valve. So we have to open the exhaust valve before point D. Okay. So I am putting here. Okay. So before 20 degree, at point D1, exhaust valve start to open. Okay. Now when we start to open the exhaust valve at point D1, so when we move from D1 to D, exhaust valve will open at point D. Now at point D, heat reaction also takes place. Cooling process also takes place. Okay. Exhaust gases are cooled down by cool water. Okay. So heat reaction takes place, and again heat reaction cannot start at point D. So it also takes some time. Okay. So heat reaction will stop. Here heat reaction started. Okay, and heat reaction will stop after 25 degree. Here heat reaction will stop after 25 degree. From point D. Where does the point D dash? So heat reaction of the gases, exhaust gases takes place at point D, and it will stop at point D dash. Okay. After 25 degree. And from point D, exhaust stroke also starts. Exhaust stroke is open here. So exhaust stroke takes place. Again, during this cycle, exhaust valve is open. Okay. Exhaust valve is open. And it will open up to point E. Now from D to E, exhaust valve is open for exhaust stroke. Now like I said again, now exhaust stroke completed at point E, so we need to close the exhaust valve. Again we start to close the exhaust valve at point E, but it cannot just close at point E. It will take some time to close, fully close. Okay. So we have started to close the exhaust valve at point E, but it will close after some time. So it will close after 70 degree from point E. After 70 degree from point E. After 70 degree from point E at E dash. So when we move from E to E dash, exhaust valve will close at point E dash. Okay. So this is the actual valve diagram. Okay, this is something complex. You have to make a big diagram so that you can easily see the angle. Okay. Slightly variation in angle doesn't matter. Okay. Variation of 1 or 2 degree in angle doesn't matter. Okay. But we have to be very clear about the points from where the inlet valve starts to open, from where inlet valve starts to close. Okay. So we have to take care of that. Okay. Now one thing you notice, I have told you that during successional stroke, inlet valve starts to open before point A. Okay, at A dash, before 60 degree. Okay. So before point A at A dash, this is the area of exhaust stroke. You see, before point A, so A dash to A, this is the area of exhaust stroke. From B to this is the area of exhaust stroke. And during exhaust stroke, exhaust valve is also open. Means from A dash to A, inlet valve is open for 60 degree and exhaust valve is also open. Okay. Similarly, if you see from E to E dash, this is the area of successional stroke. When you cross the line from point E, then E to E dash is the area of successional stroke. Okay. And during successional stroke, inlet valve opens. Inlet valve is already open. And during here from E to E dash, exhaust valve is also open. So again from E to E dash, inlet valve is also open and exhaust valve is also open. So we can see from A dash to A and from E to E dash, for both these distances, inlet valve as well as exhaust valve, both the valves are open in open condition. Okay, this thing you can only see in these distances only. For the whole cycle you cannot see this type of thing. Okay. For any stroke, only one valve is open. Like for successional stroke, inlet valve is open, exhaust valve is closed. For exhaust stroke, exhaust valve is open, inlet valve is closed. Okay. For compression stroke or expansion stroke, both the valves are in closed position. But these both valves are open simultaneously together. from point A dash to A and B to B dash. Okay. So this area is known as wall overlap. This area is known as wall. If you see right from A dash to A, from A dash to A, from A dash to A, this is 6 degree, and from E to E dash, this is 7 degree. Okay. So for these for both these distances, inlet and outlet wall, both the walls are open simultaneously. So if we add both these angles, it will become 30 degree. Okay. So for this 30 degree, both wall remains in open condition. And this from A dash to A and B to dash, this area is known as wall overlap. Okay. Wall overlap. Wall overlap. Okay. So this is actual wall overlap diagram. Okay. So this is all for today. Okay.